Welcome into the Bluegrass Burnouts YouTube channel. Today we're going to be doing our Week 5 Las Vegas paint scheme review. Going to keep it real short and sweet here. Good week, however, it's a primary heavy week, which isn't bad. And there's a lot of really good primaries this year, but there's not a lot of uniqueness this week. There still is. I'm sure someone will say that I don't know ball, but I'm going to stick to my guns. There's not a lot of uniqueness this week. But I'm going to go ahead and go into my number 5, Cody, which is an O'Reilly series. We're both still doing it. I feel like a lot of people are doing it. But we are going we're going with Josh Bilicki and the Cowboy Pillows Chevrolet. Looks really nice. Also love me some Cowboy Pillows. You know, I think everybody does, if you know what that is. So, but also just that brand is really cool too. But pretty good. Not a lot of empty space. They do a really good job kind of meshing the red and the white together. I really like it, and that is why I put it at my number 5.
Yeah, man, definitely a good one. We've got some bangers this week. My number 5, I've got Carson Hocevar in the number 77. And it's kind of just the Chili's car, but they added a little bit of rhinestones to it. Like you said, We've got a very primary heavy schedule this week. But I do love the little additions. I love the Chili's car. I've already used one of them, and I'm probably going to end up using another later on. So we've got some absolute bangers on here, but in my 5, it's the 77.
Yeah. My number 4, going with Tyler Reddick this week. Looks really nice. It's a little bit out there. We've talked about it before, that if you do black and gray on a race car really well, you do it really well. And I think they do a good job here. I'm not quite sure what the actual pattern is in the gray. It kind of looks like an alligator skin. It kind of looks like a tree. And I'm not sure what it is.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember this one. This is Kurt Busch's last win.
Is it?
This is a throwback to Kurt Busch's last win, and it's meant to be designed like one of the Jordan shoes. Forgive me, I'm not a shoe guy. I don't know which one.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's meant to match that design, and it's so good. It's on my list later on. We'll get into it. But this is a throwback to Kurt Busch, which just gives it that extra little bit of this is awesome.
Yeah,
because man, we've talked, in talking about Alex recently, it's happened a lot, but we want to make sure Kurt Busch, man, he got cut short, and we would have got to run a little bit longer, but having that last win in the 45 car, it's always a super cool thing to have. So seeing them throw back to this at the track he won the race at, and it's his hometown track as well. Let me reiterate that. It is his hometown track. He won the race at Kansas, I believe.
Okay.
I think I had those two mixed up.
I couldn't
in my
remember his
head.
last win, to be 100% honest with you.
Yeah, but it was always a good time. So I'm super glad that they're running this throwback.
Yeah, and like Kurt said when he was in the booth, when Tyler Reddick won his first race in this car, it is in good hands, which is fantastic. One thing I'll just say this last little thing. I love the red on it, the red Jordan logo, the red numbers, the red bumper in the front. Looks fantastic. That's why I got it at my number 4. Great car, but I do think there's a couple things that are a little bit better, but I could totally see anybody and justify anybody putting it at 1 through 5.
Yeah, man, absolutely. At my 4, I've got Ty Dillon, number 10. Okay. The Campers in RV. I love this car. Orange and white on a race car. Kind of got those creamsicle vibes. It's got the Hooters vibes. I love the way that they do this, and I think the green highlights it really well. The trees in the bottom, there's not too much empty space. That You Save logo right above the quarter panel really saves it, taking away all that empty space. But I love the white accents along the side, the logo on the hood. Everything about this car just works well. I know Ben Rhodes has had this sponsor in the Truck Series, so we've kind of already seen stuff from them. I think they might have even sponsored a Cup race already this year. But either way, this is a great scheme. This is a great company for schemes. Like I said, I love this color scheme, but I think they did super well on this one, and no complaints from me. I love this.
Yeah, definitely. Great looking scheme. My number 3, I got Cody Ware. I don't think we've ever had a Cody Ware car on here before. Maybe when he ran an Arby's scheme, if he ran one before, we might have had that.
I think he has before, and I think we included it.
I believe so.
I can't remember specifically.
So, looking at this car, it's a little basic, and I will be the first one to admit that. The purple and white faded in, I think looks really good. Not a lot of colors. One thing that really popped to me was the kind of goldish rims on it. I feel like you don't see that a lot nowadays. And it reminds me a little bit of like custom cars in Heat 5 and like, die casts that were like just like toys, like little like Matchbox,
Dude,
Hot Wheels.
Literally what I was going to say about those. Because when
Yes.
I ran Heat 5, I made the gold bronzish rims because I
same here.
loved the way they looked on the car.
Yeah, that's exactly what it reminded me of.
I love the colors on this scheme. And my thing is, and this is a thing we've talked about before, I wish they would have done a little bit more. Just not enough going on, but I love the colors, and this was definitely just on the outskirts. But I love that you brought up the rims, because that's one of the things that I've always appreciated from Rick Ware Racing.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say that it matches this car, but I still love it.
Yeah, exactly. Just last little bit on this car, they do a really good job of, even though it's basic, of keeping the space, or of keep making use of the space. Great looking car. Cody Ware back up into our top 5 for this year, at least into mine.
Yes, sir, baby. Absolutely. At my 3, I've got Tyler Reddick. We've already talked about it. The throwback to Kurt Busch. I love that they're paying homage to him like this. He's a driver that has had so much impact on the sport, but unfortunately, because of those injuries towards the end of his career, it's looked on like more of a missed opportunity, which really sucks. And it's one of those things where we always love to see Kurt coming back. So hopefully they have him at this race to, kind of pay further homage to him.
Hopefully.
But even without that tidbit behind it, the car is just gorgeous. Like I said earlier, I don't know what shoe it's supposed to look like, but I love the way this thing is designed. It all just works together so well. You've got the black and the gray, what kind of looks like a leopard pattern, cheetah pattern, and then the red just pops so well. We talked about it with their scheme last week, how the red Jumpman logo, for me personally, didn't work. I didn't like it. I didn't think it popped well where it was at. And honestly, I thought it kind of made it look clunky. This one on here does the exact opposite. Those red highlights pop perfectly. It's kind of got those Chicago Bulls red and black vibe. But man, this car is just gorgeous. And I've already said it, but I'm so glad that they are running this car.
Yeah, no, great looking scheme. Going with my number 2, Cody, I was very, very torn between 1 and 2. But I ended up putting this one at 2, and that is Chris Buescher's Farm Rich Ford this weekend. It looks great. It's got the green on the front, which I personally love. It fades into the white with the Farm Rich logo. You got the Smiths logo on the bottom. You got the mozzarella sticks on the quarter panel. It looks good. It's a good-looking car. This looks like something like, I always say, I'm not a die-cast guy. I would rather spend my money on apparel. Like, I'm a big apparel guy, as you can tell from this Daytona 500 hat from this year. Shout out to my brother-in-law.
By the way.
Yes. He's heavy into, like, metal and stuff like that. He actually goes to the festival they have at Daytona every single year because they live right by it. And, dude, he got this hat, and he was like, I need to buy this one for myself. And then he's like, I need to buy you one, too. So... But I love it. This is probably my new favorite NASCAR hat. But back to the die-cast and the paint schemes. I always judge a paint scheme by if I would buy it if I was a die-cast guy. And I do have some die-casts. Like, there's some special ones. Like, I have a William Byron Daytona 500 one that I really like. I have a Jeff Gordon one. It's like the small ones, but nothing like Logan buying a whole case at the Atlanta race that we went to.
I don't blame him.
No, I wouldn't have blamed him either.
I am a diecast guy. My dad's a diecast guy. He made me a diecast guy. I bought a signed Tony Stewart diecast at that race.
You did, and Dawson bought
I bought like 3.
Dawson bought the Dale Jr. KFC diecast.
Oh yeah, that 81 diecast.
I was eyeing that. I was like, should I buy this? And then Dawson bought it.
Dude, it's one of the best.
I was like, thankfully Dawson bought that, but I probably would have bought it if he didn't buy it before me. But anyways,
dude,
great looking car, Chris Buescher, Farm Rich. Fantastic, looks amazing. I love it. I would 100% buy a diecast if I was a diecast guy, and I cannot wait to watch it on the track this weekend.
Absolutely, man. it's one that just the colors work really well. One that I absolutely considered putting on there, but fortunately just missed out. At my 2, an absolute gorgeous scheme for Las Vegas. I have an O'Reilly car, Ryan Ellis in the
Yes.
02. And oh my god, I'm a sucker. I am a sucker for like gambling, like doing stuff about the city. Like I love the design of poker chips, especially when they're incorporated super well. And I feel like on this scheme, they are incorporated super, super well. I just love the looks of this. And I think the blue in the background fading to the dark blue in the middle. I'm just a big blue guy. Like I love the color blue. And I think it works perfectly on this car. And I also love the colors that they picked for the chips. You've got the teal, the kind of like light purple, and then the red. And I think those colors for the chips, excuse me, I think those colors for the chips make it that much better. And I love how the logo takes up all of that empty space. There's nothing left. The chips take up all the empty space. And I kind of like the way how it kind of looks like it flows.
Yeah.
Like it's not just like they're randomly placed. It doesn't look clunky. It doesn't look weird. It looks like a stream of poker chips. And that is perfect for Las Vegas weekend. And I'm a sucker for degeneracy. You know, gambling, alcohol sponsors, tobacco sponsors. Dude, those sponsors are just incredible. Like, and we've talked about this already, but those hit, and this is no exception. I love this.
Hey, some of the most iconic motor racing cars, whether it be NASCAR, IndyCar, F1, MotoGP, they're alcohol and tobacco sponsors. So, just saying. That's what I'm saying,
man. It just makes sense.
So my last one, this is a primary scheme, Cody, and I have been wanting to talk about this one all year, but I knew it was going to be a primary, so I was like, I need to wait for a week where we don't have a lot of variety, and that's Chase Briscoe. Dude, it looks, they always do a great job. Bass Pro always does a great job, whether it's him, whether it's Ty Dillon, whether it is, another driver in a lower series, but Bass Pro does a fantastic job. I'm glad that they've stuck in the sport for as long as they did. We kind of see some, we've seen FedEx leave. We've basically seen, Exalta / DuPont leave. We've seen M&M's leave. We've pretty much seen Coca-Cola leave, McDonald's. But Bass Pro has stuck around for a while now, and they're one of those ones that kids that are growing up who are watching it now are going to look back to those, those Bass Pro cars with the camo on it. They got all their brands. They got the big Bass Pro in the middle. The orange and the camo surprisingly looks really well together. Sometimes you look at guys who hunt, and it's because it's it's more of like a burnt orange. It's not like a true Texas burnt orange, but it's a little bit like that Hooters one, maybe a little bit darker than that. But it looks really good together, and I am very, very happy that this is still a primary scheme. I'm happy I get to talk about it this week. Now I'm not going to talk about it the rest of the year because I've already had it up here, but this is one that I look forward to seeing every single week.
Yeah, man, and I'm actually glad you brought it up because it's one that I love to talk about as well. And so I just want to give an opportunity. Like you said, Bass Pro, one of the most iconic sponsors in an era where a lot of sponsors are leaving. They've stuck through, and they always come through with the banger schemes. Like you said, no matter who they're on. And this one is one that I haven't talked about, like on the list. I try and stick to non-primaries when I can. But man, this thing is awesome. And, props to Bass Pro. Hopefully they continue because we need them in the sport to keep up this paint scheme game because good competition breeds good competition, if you know what I mean. This is
exactly
perfect. But at my number 1, I've got, I don't even know how to describe it. The paint easel on wheels. Give me Shane Van Gisbergen in the number 97.
Great looking car.
This thing is, I say I'm a sucker for a lot of things, but I wouldn't say that I'm necessarily a sucker for this one, but you need to draw me in. You have to be able to draw me in. And this vibe of just complete chaos draws me in. Like, I just would love to just sit and look at this car. Like, it looks like it's just going to have little details scattered throughout every single bit of it. And if you look at it, it kind of does. Like, obviously the little logos, but then it's got I think it's an engine in the back. It's got some exhaust pipes that aren't supposed to be on there. And the colors just go so well together. I think they killed on this scheme. And when I first saw a screenshot of it, I wasn't sure that I liked it. It felt a little clunky, but I kind of took an opportunity to like step back and man, I love this thing. It just, started by saying it looks like a paint easel on wheels. And I kind of love that about it. How there's the splattered paint. It, like I said, gives that chaotic vibe. And you talk about being cars that you would buy a diecast of. This is a car that I would buy a diecast of just because it looks cool. Like I
Yeah.
don't know who the sponsor is. I truthfully don't care. But the fact that the scheme is able to draw you in like that, and those ones where it kind of gives you so much to look at, like you literally feel like you could just sit there. I just love those types of schemes, and I think they do it very well. And I can't talk enough about how much I love like the color scheme. Like they just all go so well from the bright colors to the darker colors, and it's just I love it so much. I can't say enough good about this.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Definitely. It is a great looking, fantastic looking scheme. And it reminds me a lot of I can't remember who it was, like the Italian scheme we had last week,
Yeah,
who ran
yeah,
that. That's exactly what it reminded me of. And, it's been a good year for paint schemes so far. I can't really
dude,
say
it's
much
been a
more.
banger.
Yeah.
I would argue that last week was one of our best weeks of schemes all year. And obviously, I know
Yes.
we're only four races in, but genuinely, we had some great schemes last week. Usually, Daytona is when you're going to have the best ones,
Especially
and
early year.
it's not like we didn't have bad ones, but that's the most viewed race. That's the one that gets the most publicity. But last week had some great ones. And I love that teams are no longer, it's not like, oh, you save your best schemes for the best tracks. Like you can just pump out a good scheme just because you feel like it at this point in NASCAR. And that's one of the positives. We say a lot of negatives about sponsors leaving and shorter contracts with teams, but that is a positive that comes out of whenever you have a sponsor that may not be on for multiple races or may only have a few races, they put so much more effort into those paint schemes because they want to be talked about. And this is one of those schemes where I don't know how many races this sponsor is going to be on. I don't know if it's just a one-time deal, but we're going to be talking about this car later into the year, which gets them more publicity. And even at the race, even at the track where the most people are going to be seeing this, at least like in person, it's going to have the most lasting impact. The people that see that are going to go check out that brand more than likely. So I love that it's kind of a positive side effect to the sponsors leaving and the shortening of the races, but it's one of those things that I can absolutely get behind because it makes the paint scheme game better. And like I said, competition creates better competition. Any
Yes.
competition at all makes everyone else better. And we're seeing that with this scheme right here.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But, Cody, you got anything else to end this before we get out of here?
Nah, man, we're off to a crazy week. Oh, actually, I lied. I do have one more thing. The news broke earlier today. Alex Bowman out of the car once again. I won't rant. I won't talk about it more. I just want to extend my prayers. Still hoping you get better. Want to see Alex back in the car as soon as possible. I'll be at Darlington here next week, and while things may not look great that he's going to be back, I'm certainly hoping he'll be there because it's always a great opportunity it's always a great day to get to see your favorite driver run a race, and hoping we get that. But at the end of the day, I've said it more. Your health is the most important at any point in time. So just hoping he gets back soon.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. 100%. But, Cody, like we say, you're not my dad. You can't tell me what to do. But we would love to hear what you guys think in the comments. Thank you guys
Yes,
for
sir.
watching. Subscribe, like, do all that good stuff. Thank you guys for watching, like I said, and you all have a good rest of your day.